أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله أحمده واستعينه واستهديه واستغفره وأؤمن به جل وعلا ولا أكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى والدين الحق ليظهره على دين كله ولو كره المشركون. All praise is due to Allah. I praise Him. I seek His help. I seek His guidance. I ask His forgiveness. I believe in Allah and do not disbelieve in Him, and I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah. And I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Allah sent him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, with the true way of life. And this true way of life, al-Islam, shall overcome, shall overwhelm all other ways of life, all of the mushriks, all of those who associate partners with Allah may hate it. My respected brothers and sisters, I would like to talk about the role of African American Muslims in a period of Islamic revival. What is the role of African American Muslims in this period of Islamic revival, or tajdeed? The United States of America is the only country in the West in which the majority of the Muslims are converts. Not France, not Germany, Canada, Australia. The only country in the West in which the majority of Muslims are converts is the United States. And the largest group of those converts are African Americans. So now, what is our role as we find ourselves in this historical period of time? I want to share with you 7 qualities of African Americans. And I want us to deal with these qualities and deal with how these qualities, how these qualities affect Islam and how Islam affects those qualities. And I want you to see if these qualities are familiar to you. Number 1, so we have to kind of get moving here. Number 1. Black folks are known for being strong, strength. We're known for that. If we look at the story of Bilal ibn Rabah, and we radiyallahu anhu, and we see that when Bilal was being tortured, they were trying to break him. And we see that he was put bare chest on the hot sand with a huge rock on his chest. And they were trying to get him, to break him, to get him away from Islam. And all Bilal was saying was, Ahadun Ahad, Ahadun Ahad. Not long after that, some of the other companions asked Bilal, why did you keep saying that? Why did you keep saying, Ahadun Ahad, Ahad? And Bilal said, I was trying to think of something, what I could say to make him angry. Now tell the truth, when you heard that story, when you first heard the story of Bilal, didn't you say to yourself, just like a black man? Couldn't break him. We have a reputation of being strong, that it is almost impossible to break us. We still here. That's our reputation. That sound familiar? All right. Number 2. We are deeply spiritual people. that whatever culture we have is going to be a faith-based culture. It means God is going to be at the center of that culture. We get that from slavery? No. We bought that with us from Africa. We got Christianity from slavery. But we are deeply spiritual people. Deeply spiritual. So much so that I can show you, and you all know, African Americans. There's some African American Muslims who know that much Arabic, but who would die for Islam. Because Islam is in our hearts. When Malcolm was in Africa, he went to Senegal. And the Senegalese told Malcolm, we may not know a lot of Arabic, but Islam is in our hearts. We have Islam in our hearts. And Malcolm said, that's the exact description of the African American Muslim. So one, we are known for being a strong people. You can't break us. Number two, we're deeply spiritual people. Deeply spiritual. God is at the center of our culture. With African Americans, you could talk about God anywhere. Anywhere. You went to a circus, not a soul circus. At the end of the soul circus, they had a little skit on spirituality. Had a little Jesus figure, so on and so forth. And nobody got offended. Now, if they tried that at Ringling, Barley, Bailey, whatever they call it, and tried to do a spiritual thing, other folks would be offended. You could talk about God anywhere with black folks. We're deeply spiritual people. That sound familiar? Number three. Black people have a special love for justice and an intense hatred for injustice. You notice that about us? You ever hear them talk about the angry black man and the angry black woman? Anytime you see an angry black man or angry black woman, 9.9 times out of 10 is because of some type of injustice that was done. Either some type of injustice that was done to them or some type of injustice that was done to somebody else. Black people hate injustice. We hate it. Special hatred for injustice. Right? They did an experiment in England, on a beach in England. And it was an experiment. And the cop went up to some Muslim women. They were in hijab and everything on a beach and told them they can't wear that. You can't wear that. You can't wear that on the beach. Right? It was an experiment they was doing. And who came over there? 2 black women. I'm serious. Like, the white folks were just kicking back and just watching. Next thing you know, 2 black women came up. You can't do this to them. That's how black people is. Black people have a love for justice and a special hatred for injustice. We get that from slavery? No. Not at all. Remember when the Muslims went on their first hijrah? Where did they go? Abyssinia. Why did they go to Abyssinia? Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that there's a king there and nobody's ever wronged in his kingdom. He was about what? He was about justice. Ibn Battuta, the Muslim explorer, who went all over the known world, went to Mali. And when he went to Mali, here's what he said, quote, "They are seldom unjust and have a great hatred for injustice than any other people. Their sultan shows no mercy to anyone who is guilty of the smallest act of it. There is complete security in their country. Neither traveler nor inhabitant in it has anything to fear from robbers or men of violence." That's how he described the Muslims, the African Muslims of Mali. Right? They are seldom unjust. So this love we have for justice and this hatred that we have for injustice, that's a part of us. That's before we got here. So, we're known for our strength. You can't break them. We are known for being deeply spiritual. God is at the center of our culture. Right? And we have a love, an intense love for justice, an intense hatred for injustice. That sound familiar? All right. Number 4. We have a reputation as being fierce fighters. We do. Right? As soon as we got into boxing, we took it over. Now it's MMA, what they call MMA. We ready to take that. But actually, we done took that. We just got, we known for being fierce fighters. We known for that, right? Let's go back. Why did they get Washi, Radiallahu anhu? Washi, why did they get him? For his spear, to martyr Hamza, right? He's Abyssinian. He's a fighter, warrior, right? And Washi later became Muslim, alhamdulillah. He later became Muslim, right? But we known for being fierce. We're fierce fighters. We known for that. When the Muslims went into Nubia, and they talked about this. They said, we got to Nubia, they said, we can do nothing with them. We couldn't do nothing with them. There are reports of Muslims saying to the Nubians, hit me right here. Because the Nubians would say, where you want this next arrow? And so the Muslims would say, this is a matter of record, hit me right here. They said they would hit right there. Where you want the next one? Hit me right here. They would hit right there. Couldn't do it. They sent back to the governor of Egypt. We can't do nothing with them. It was the Muslims, saying this. We can't do nothing with them. And the governor of Egypt said, leave them alone. Then later on, the Nubians became Muslim. We are known for being fierce fighters. So, we're known for being a people of strength. We can't be broken. We are known for being a people who have a love for justice and a hatred for injustice. We're known for being deeply spiritual. And we're known for being fierce fighters. That sound familiar? أقول لك هذا استغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد النبي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. We remember in Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was given the gift of how to interpret events. But now, check this out. They'll talk about how Yusuf alayhi salam was able to interpret dreams. But that's not all. That's not all. Yusuf was able to interpret not only dreams, but speeches, talks, reports, tales, events, narratives, prophetic traditions. So the ability to just interpret things, right? When you look at African Americans, we know how to interpret things. Okay. No, we know how to interpret things. We know exactly, this sound familiar? We know exactly what be going on, right? Matter of fact, way before this war on Islam, we was telling our immigrant brothers, wasn't we? We was telling our immigrant brothers, okay, get ready, because something serious is coming. They coming at us. They going to come at us. And some of them brothers would say to us, come on now, you guys are just still mad over slavery. Well, yeah, but that's not what we're saying it though. Like something is coming. We were interpreting events. We were interpreting things. And next thing you know, here we are. Some of you may be too young to know. Some of you remember this. Remember back in the day, it was the Shia? The Shia were the monsters. The Shia Iran, the Shia. And we said, today the Shia, tomorrow the rest of us. That's what we said. Why? Because we knew how to interpret events. We know how to interpret things, right? We can read things. And one of the best people at this, if you want to see it, and you know it, is Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. He could read things. He knew things. He knew developments of things. You know what I'm saying? When certain things happened, he understood what that meant. He understood the ramifications of it. We have the ability to read things. We just have that ability. We do. We know how to read things. Sound familiar? Number 6. African Americans have the ability to influence people of all races and classes. It don't matter. We're going to influence you. You could be white, red, brown. It don't matter. We're going to influence you. If you want to see what American youth are doing today, look at black youth. Look at black youth, and you'll see what American youth are doing today. We have the ability to influence people from all different races and all different classes just by being ourselves. Not trying to cross up, no, just by being ourselves, we influence people, right? You hear Asians talking about the N-word. No, that's my Asians. In Malaysia, the look is trying to look like a young black male from America. In Malaysia, they hip-hopping in China, right? We have the ability to influence people from other races, all different races and all different classes. Those white kids in the suburbs, they're being influenced by us. We have that ability. What happens if you have a people who have the ability to influence people across all racial lines and class lines, and then you give them a spiritual tradition that is for all people, from all races and all classes? You seeing who we are so far? You go to a Taylor Swift concert, there's white folks. You go to a Beyonce concert, everybody there. But it's not just entertainment. The American Indian movement was influenced by the Panthers. The Brown Berets was influenced by the Panthers. The Young Lords out of New York was influenced by, in Chicago, and was influenced by the Black Panthers. The anti-war movement was influenced by black folks, the so-called civil rights movement. They even had a group in India called the Dalit Panthers. You know, in India they had the so-called untouchables. They was called the Dalit Panthers. And they said that they asked the leader, does this have anything to do with the Black Panther Party of Oakland, California? They said it has everything to do with it. We are an international people by being ourselves and universal. That sound familiar? The influence. And anybody would tell you, brothers and sisters, that influence always equals leadership. Whoever has influence is the leader. You don't even have to have a title. You could have an organization, there's the president, the vice president, so on and so forth, but there could be somebody else in the organization who has no title, but has the influence, that's the leader. That's the leader. Whoever has influence is the leader. And we have the ability to influence all different types of people. You seeing who we are? Number 7. Not only do we influence other people from other races and classes, the African American and the African American Muslim influences other black people. Our most powerful leaders in our history have either been Muslim or in some way affiliated or associated with Islam. Marcus Garvey, influenced by Dusay Muhammad Ali. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, gotta put him in there. Gotta put him in there because he was a Garvey type leader. He was a Garvey type leader. All right? And Haj Malik al-Shabazz, Rahmatullah, Muhammad Ali. Some of our most powerful and influential leaders have either been Muslim or have had some type of affiliation or association with Islam. The first slave revolt in the so-called New World took place on the plantation of Christopher Columbus's son, what is now called Haiti. It was an African uprising led by Muslims. Jamaica, Panama, all these different places, Cuba, the Maroon societies, were usually societies of Africans who ran away from slavery, and in many cases those Maroon societies were headed by Muslims. It got so bad that in the first 50 years of Spanish rule, the Spaniards made it against the law to bring Muslims to the New World. Why? 2 reasons. Because of African uprisings led by Muslims. And the Muslims were also hooking up with the indigenous people and revolting. And so what you saw all throughout our history, African uprisings led by Muslims. African uprisings led by Muslims. Whether it's in the joint, whether it's on campus, whether it's in the streets, these African uprisings are led, in many cases, by African American Muslims. Sound familiar? Do you think our enemy don't know all this? Here's how much our enemy knows it. What did they say? We must prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist organizations. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. For those in this country, they put in quotation mark Messiah. For those in this country, the Messiah is an African American male Muslim. And I'm not saying we're looking for one. I ain't saying that. I'm saying that that's where they come from. So for the black man, you a Muslim, you black, and you male. As far as they're concerned, that's 3 strikes. That's their worst nightmare, because in their mind, that's where the leadership is coming from. That's where the leadership is coming from. So now, you also have a people who can interpret events, influence people from all races and all walks of life, and influence their own people. African uprising led by Muslims. What do you think our role is in this Islamic revival? And unless we understand it, appreciate it, embrace it, and walk with it, we are not going to be respected. So anytime you hear an African American Muslim complain that immigrant Muslims are not respecting us like they should, one of the main reasons is because we're not coming out of our legacy. We are not coming out of our legacy. And if we don't come out of our legacy, Allah will punish us. Because He gave us all this. He gave us this. And He fashioned us. He fashioned us to play a certain role. He fashioned us. And if we do not play that role, and yes, there's a struggle that comes along with it. Yes. There's sacrifice that come along with it. Yes. There's suffering that comes along with it. Yes. But it is an honorable role that He gave us. And we either embrace it or we'll be disgraced. Either embrace it or be disgraced. This is our role in the Islamic revival today. And one of the reasons why the African American Muslim is being marginalized, right? Insignificant, so on and so forth, is because of the role that we play. The role that we play. And we have to embrace that. Oh Allah, we seek that refuge from anxieties and grief. We seek that refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek that refuge from stinginess and cowardliness. We seek that refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. Oh Allah, satisfy us with that which is lawful. Keep us away from that which is unlawful. And with thy grace, free us of all wants of that which is beside thee. And Allah, guide us to the best of morals. For none can guide us to the best of morals but thee. And turn us away from the evil and indecent morals. For none can turn away from the evil and indecent morals but thee. Amen. Amen. Inshallah.